everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the Valley High Studio Calico kit, and I'm down to my scraps, and that piece of October afternoon orange triangle paper and vanilla. I found the piece was too big to just not use it, so there was also that yellowish, and it was sort of like circles, and I had used most of the pattern paper on a page. I think I had used a 10.5 by 10.5 square, and so I had 2 strips left, and so I thought I'd use those. And the edges of that pattern paper, it kind of has oranges tinge, and I did get into my second sheet of pattern paper for that too, and then somehow I lose that second scallop one at one point, and I'm gonna have to punch it out again, so you'll be seeing me doing that in a little bit. And then the one that I'm going to use for my journaling is the reverse side of it's red with little pink hearts and cream hearts on the other side. And then I wanted to use that frame that I was going to use on a page a few pages ago, and I didn't use it. And this is another picture. It's of my mom and my oldest daughter, and they had taken one of those boats where you paddle. No, you don't paddle. You basically, it has little pedals on it, a pedal boat. And they had gone right across the lake and back, and that lake was really huge. Anyway, they had fun doing that. Now I had a scrap of that yellow cardstock, and it's going to take me a few minutes to decide whether I want to use yellow or blue, or I'm going to take out a few other colors too, I believe. And I'm going to finally decide on the yellow. So I'm going to mount it on that and then cut around it. And this is the 17th layout using the Valley High Studio Calico kit, and it took me 1 hour and 18 minutes. And I have 2 more videos that are already, like, the pages are all done. I just got to upload them to iMovie and do the voiceover. And I'm also doing my December daily at the same time. And I'm almost done another page using just scraps too. So I'm hoping today's Monday. What are we? Monday, December 9th. So I'm hoping to do the Killikit video either later on tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. And you might not see it for a few days because, like I said, I still have quite a few videos to upload, and I don't want to upload more than one a day. And I don't mind that they're kind of building up. That way I can have them just sitting there waiting, and then when I have times where I have less time to do videos, I'll have some extras kind of built up. So that sheet was a little bit bigger than the photo, so I just trimmed it down with my scissors. And now I'm going to take my trimmer and cut around. And that frame, the Polaroid frame, is where I'm going to put my title. And I found that piece of paper was just a little too big. The orange October afternoon, you couldn't see enough of the vanilla background. And now I'm going to ink everything up in some black ink. And I'm going to start inking these, and I don't like it. And so that's what happened. I didn't lose it. I didn't like that at all. So I had a piece of scrap of the second sheet of the pattern paper. So I'm going to cut that down, and I'm going to punch it again, and I'm just not going to ink it up. It just looked kind of funny. So I'd rather not ink it up at all. And that punch is an EK Success punch, and it's called something like double dotted embossed. And it's supposed to emboss little circles in each scallops, like a whole bunch of little circles. But if you don't push hard, it just makes a nice size scallop. It's the only punch that I was able to find that makes these big scallops. and but I didn't want those little circle emboss things, but it doesn't do it if you're using pattern paper, which is not very thick, you won't get those embossed circles. So now I glue down, that pattern paper to the background, and then I decide that I want to use that Polaroid frame right there, and that's where the title is going to sit on the page. I was trying to figure out, I could have put it different spots, but I put it there because then I wasn't creating any trap white space. I probably could have figured out something else if I put it somewhere else, but for this video, is what I decided to do. And by choosing that location for my title, and I'm also going to make a cluster with it, then it kind of helped me decide where the other clusters were going to be. Because it was there, then I decided to make it in a diagonal from left to right. Now, if I would have decided somewhere else on the page, then the clusters would have been somewhere different. And that's what I do. I just decide with one element where it's going to be, and then with that, it decides where the other clusters are going to go. And because what you try to do is you try to make it so that your photo is in between all these clusters. So whether the clusters are really close together or further apart like they are on this page, the photo is still in the middle of all these clusters. Now I just checked, and the next two videos, the clusters are totally different. So we'll be able to go through the different things that I thought of when I put these clusters together. And the reason I'm going to put focus on that is last video I talked about how that was one of my biggest struggles, and still is. It's gotten a whole lot better than 150 some videos ago, because now I just don't take time to overthink it too much. I just go with the flow, and it seems to have helped a whole lot. But I had a few comments saying, that's what they struggle with the most too, is the clusters and also where to put them. So we'll go and kind of discuss that as we're doing the next few pages. So now I'm looking for some enamel dots, and I know I want to use a couple of colors, orange and yellow, and that's the two main colors of this page. And I was really happy to be able to use this big orange leftover of pattern paper, because I knew that if I put it away, that was it. There was no way that I was going to use that pattern paper again. It was just going to be there until the day that I decide that, okay, it's, I'm not going to use it. Let's just trash it. So I think that's part of the reason why it takes me forever to decide, okay, I'm going to do a Kill a Kit video, and it doesn't bother me as much to put embellishments away. Oh, well, before I continue, I use some of this what's it called? I was going to say crepe. Oh, it's crepe paper. I was going to say crepe paper, and then I thought, no, that's like a paper company. Crepe paper. And I bought it. It came in 4 different colors, I believe. But this vanilla texture is my favorite. So I'm going to put that in behind the whole cluster. And it just adds a little bit of texture and interest to the page. So I'm going to put that in behind the layout. And now I'm going to work on all the different clusters, and I'm going to decide to put that geotag there with a sticker that says all smiles. And what I was saying is I don't mind keeping the embellishments, because I know if I have the embellishments in a little bowl, as I need them, I'm going to use them. But for some reason, the papers, I stick with the kit. So by the time I put the kit away, I like to be able to just take the papers and whatever's left, just throw them in the trash, because I know I'm not going to use them. And I don't want to clutter my room any more than I need to. But I don't want to throw away big pieces of paper, if that makes any sense. So now I'm going to work on the bottom cluster, and I'm going to put some foam tape, and that foam tape I got at Custom Crops. I believe I paid about around $36, and at the time I forgot I bought a roll, and I bought a second roll within a month. So now I have 2 rolls, but I'm going through it, I don't want to say quickly, because I think I've had it for 6 months and I still have quite a bit left. I probably won't have to buy foam tape for the next 2 years or so, which is good. I do like the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, so I'm still going to get those because this foam tape gives it a little bit more rise on the page. So if I want something that doesn't pop up the page as much, then I'll use my Stampin' Up! Dimensional. Or behind my butterflies, I really like those, the dimensionals for that too. But what I like about this foam tape is I can cut it down to whatever size I need, and I really like that. Now I'm going to bring in some twine, and it's the black and white twine because I know I want to use black lettering on my title, so I want to bring other black elements. So I'm going to look at these pebble stickers that we got in this month's kit, but I'm going to decide against them. I really like the font, but I find that it's just too big for that little Polaroid frame. And then, that circle looks like it's off balance with the size of the letters. So I'm going to decide against those. And I'm going to keep looking for different fonts. And these little letters I had gotten from one of the Studio Calico kits. And there was no T's, so I'm going to decide on something else. So pretty much sure that I want to use black and white letters. So then I'm going to take out my little Tim Holtz ideology stickers, and there's 900 stickers that come with this set. So the title is Let Thee, and that's going to be with these little stickers. And then the circle says adventure, and it says it, 7 or 8 times. And it's just cursive, and some of them are in that yellow orange, the same color as the layout, and one of the adventure is in white, so it pops up. So, and then begin. So let the adventure begin. And begin, I'm going to decide on an October afternoon mini market stickers, and it's the one that came with the Silent Night collection, and it's called Slate, I believe. And I actually bought it to go with my Christmas December daily. But there's so many letters on those sheets, and I believe anyway that I have 2 of them. It's called Chalk and Slate. So I really like the font of that. But as you can see, I'm going to go through quite a few of the alphas before I decide on that font. Sorry, I had to stop the recording. I had to cough really bad. So what I was saying was I really like that October, actually any October afternoon letters I really, really love. And that's one of the things that I'm really liking from the October Santa Sacks is that I'm getting some fonts that I never had. So I'm really excited about that. So this is where I'm looking for that October afternoon font, and I'm going to spell begin with that. And I'm just putting it on wax paper because if you keep pulling off and pulling on these letter stickers, after a while they're not as sticky, and then you have to, you're either going to rip them as you're trying to pull them off because they stick to the page and the top layer comes off, and then you not only have to stick it to the page, but you have to stick the thing back together. So I like using the wax paper for that. But even if I use, sometimes even if you use the wax paper, you still have to pick them up a few times and try to figure out where you're going to put it. And I think I'm going to pick it up one more time. It takes me a few minutes to try. I didn't know if I wanted to put the title in the center of that Polaroid frame or kind of offish. So I'm going to put it dead in the center, and I really don't like it. I don't know, it feels really off balance because it's in the center. So I'm going to move that circle so that it touches the side of the frame. And I fussed quite a bit with the title. And when I don't know what I want to do, what I do is I move on to something else. So, and putting that twine there doesn't take a lot of thinking. Basically, I cut it down to size. I know I want to use my tiny attacher from Tim Holtz, and the only thing I have to think about that is on one side I attach one staple, and on the other I do 3, and then on the other one I do the opposite. So, but while I'm doing that, what I do is I sit there and I think about, because I'm having trouble with that title. So instead of sitting there and staring at it, which I would have done a year ago, I would have sat there and stared at the title, maybe for half an hour, to try to figure out what I should do. But now that the camera's rolling, this is what I do. I move on to the next thing that I know for sure what I want to do, and I get it done. And hopefully by the time I'm done, the other things, then I'll know what to do. Now the twine here, because I had glued everything down, I tried to lift the elements and there was no way, like it wasn't going to come up. I was going to end up ripping those stickers. So what I did was I just cut the twine, lifted it up a little bit and glued it in behind the elements, and then went on the other side of the elements and then just finished it off that way. And you really can't tell because it would have been in behind the elements anyway. So by the time I was done that, I knew where I wanted to put the title. So now I'm gonna put the title where it belongs. So while I finish, putting the brads in and everything, I just want to remind you that on my YouTube channel, what I do is if you're new to the channel, I've made several playlists, and every Studio Calico kit, I've made a playlist and I move the videos to those playlists. So, if you're working on a particular kit and you need some ideas, then you don't have to go through my whole library of videos. You can go directly to the playlist and figure that out. And also I put up some still pictures in a few areas as Studio Calico and 2 Peas in a Bucket in the members gallery. Just look for Nicole Jones 911. I'm also on Pinterest as Nicole Jones 911, but I have the link on YouTube, and it is in the About tab, or also on, it sort of has a little banner with your picture on it. When you're looking at the videos, it's there. You can just click on the little Pinterest and it'll take you directly to my Pinterest site. I'm also on Instagram, but I haven't yet started uploading stuff there, but I plan on doing that. And my Facebook group, I have the link in the description if you want to join us, and it's a whole bunch of ladies, and we all upload our pages and inspire each other to get our pages done. So now I know I want to add some mist, but there was a lot of printables, and those have a slick surface, and the mist don't dry well on those. So instead of using the mist, I'm going to use my Glimmer Glaze, and it's a Tattered Angel products, and you can find them at Simon Says, and they dry on slick surfaces. They're almost like a slick writer. They dry on slick surfaces. So now I'm going to show you a few close-ups and a few still pictures. And that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.